Hey everybody, we're on chapter 19 and volume 2 in the Braille version. So yeah, let's go. For 2 evenings in a row, Natalie took the framed photographs from her bureau and sat cross-legged on her bed with the pictures spread out before her. By the way, let me know if you guys can hear me and things like that, because I'm recording this laying down on my bed and before bedtime. So just let me know if I sound tired or whatever. With her lighted magnifier, she memorized every figure in her images by staring with what minuscule amount of vision remained, until every line, each shadow, each nuance of color was etched in her mind. Not just the proud, happy faces of her parents, but the way her father's long fingers grasped the narrow shoulders of both her and her mother the night of the Honor Society induction. Gazing at the picture of nuisance, Natalie thought of how many times she had stroked the long, luxurious white ears on that silky brown goat. Ears, she once thought, that resembled enormous tongues. Ears so long that Natalie had actually seen them blow in the wind as she compiled her mental scrapbook. A vague uneasiness gnawed at her insides, and a corner of her heart felt pinched. Natalie knew she was preparing herself. If hope was a flame, it was flickering on a short wick, and I've never seen that symbol before in my life. Okay. And still it came as a whopping surprise. A shock, really, to awaken one Wednesday, an ordinary morning in the middle of November, only to see a solid sheet of not foreboding blackness, but indecisive gray. A massive, ethereal gray screen up close with tiny, flickering splotches of light. Natalie blinked. Several times she blinked and rubbed her eyes hard with the palms of her hands, trying to clear her tiny window into the world. But nothing changed. She sat up and turned her head from side to side, as though that would shake it loose, but nothing changed. Her heart began to beat faster. She could feel the rapid thumping in her chest and the tightening of her throat. Across the hall, Eve's Carolina wren on the bird clock sang at 7 a.m. When her own alarm went off, Natalie reached over to turn it off, scooped up the pink hope stone that she regularly left on the desk beside her, and scooped up the hope stone that she regularly left on the desk beside her at night. Scared, Squeezing the stone in one hand, she lay back down, pulling with a trembling grip the sheets up to her chin. She clenched her eyes shut and yearned desperately to go back in time, holding her breath until it hurt and she had to breathe again. Oof. Was this it? Would her sight come back later in the day? In the week? She already knew that even on the darkest of days, she would have hope. Did she need to call the doctor? Her parents? What should she do? She wondered. Tears collected and began to trickle down her cheeks. And where was God? What happened to the deal? Why did he let her down? If it had to happen, why did it have to happen at school where she was so far away from home? Maybe there was no God, because if there really was a God, why would he do this to her? Bree heard the sniffling, and when the sniffling became sobs, she seemed to know instantly what had happened. Overnight, while both of them had slept peacefully and unaware, she took a seat on the edge of Natalie's bed and, without a word, reached over and gently took Natalie's hands away from her face and held them in her own. She leaned in, her forehead touching the top of Natalie's head, still saying nothing, just letting Natalie know, as only another blind person could, that she was not alone.